Fast travel is something that we tend to take for granted in open world games, and even in many that aren't actually open world. But there are a fair few examples out there that prove that maybe it isn't always as much of a necessity as we often think. Here we're going to talk about 15 games that prove that if your world is good enough, or if your traversal is fun enough, you almost don't need fast travel. Marvel Spider-Man 2. Obviously, the Marvel Spider-Man series is the first name that comes to mind when you think of games that make fast travel redundant, Spider-Man 2 in particular, because it turns an already excellent traversal system into an even better one. The combination of web swinging and using your web wings is so endlessly thrilling and enjoyable that getting from point A to point B never really feels like a chore. In fact, it wouldn't be an exaggeration to say that that's the whole point of the game. Sunset Overdrive. Interestingly enough, Sunset Overdrive is the reason there were so many who were confident that Insomniac was the perfect choice for a Spider-Man game before the series' first game even came out. The 2014 Xbox One title had a lot of going for it, but its slick traversal mechanics were surely among its brightest highlights. Combining parkour moves, rail grinding, and snappy movement to make your way around Sunset City never really got even slightly boring. It also helped that the map was quite compact, so the distances never felt too long. Dragon's Dogma 2. Dragon's Dogma 2 flat out forces you to not use fast travel by making it a highly limited resource, and in doing so it encourages you to engage with some of its best aspects. Rather than keeping you hooked on the back of traversal mechanics, Dragon's Dogma 2 instead makes every trip feel worthwhile through a combination of consistently rewarding exploration and highly reactive and unpredictable emergent gameplay. It's about the journey, not the destination, might be one of the most overused adages in the history of adages, but it certainly does apply to this game. The Elder Scrolls V Skyrim. A handful of Elder Scrolls games deserve a place on this list, but we'll go with Skyrim here, given how excellently it allows the series' emergent systems-driven gameplay to flourish. You never quite know what to expect when you step out into the world of Skyrim. Out in the wilds, a quiet, leisurely trek can suddenly devolve into a chaotic three-way battle involving a dragon and a troll, while elements in the world itself, from hidden caves and paths to side quests and more, also do an excellent job of drawing your eye. Skipping out on that with fast travel almost feels like missing the point. Forza Horizon 5. An obvious pick? Perhaps, but one that deserves plaudits nonetheless. Open-world racers aren't exactly a rarity, but very few of them manage to make their world feel as integral to the larger experience as Forza Horizon 5 does, or any of its predecessors really. Driving through its open-world map of Mexico is always an absolute pleasure, not only because of how tight the driving mechanics are, but also because of how gorgeous the world is, and how exploring its nooks and crannies always feels so rewarding. Burnout Paradise. You know what's more fun than driving through a well-constructed open-world racer's map? Wrecking absolutely everything in your path while you're doing so. Burnout Paradise's chaotic sandbox is, appropriately enough, a proper for fans of arcade racers. Crashing through billboards, driving into traffic, causing hilariously over-the-top crashes and pileups, weaving through city streets at breakneck speeds, there's just always something fun to do in Paradise City. The fact that there's no fast travel option in the game almost doesn't register after a certain point. Grand Theft Auto 5. No matter how large the maps in GTA games get, you rarely want to use fast travel. Even in GTA 5, where the map is as gigantic as it is, the thought almost never even enters your mind. Driving through the world is consistently fun no matter how long you play in and of itself, while the sandbox of open world crime and chaos makes getting from place to place even more fun. Whether you're running over people like a madman, or stealing and discarding cars while running from the law, or even flying through the skies in a chopper, GTA 5 never fails to make travel a relentlessly enjoyable part of the experience. Ghost of Tsushima. Sometimes the sheer sense of aesthetic and visual identity of a game's world is so strong that you don't want to miss a single chance you get to simply exist in it. Ghost of Tsushima's rendition of 13th century Tsushima certainly fits that description. Few open worlds out there are as brimming with scenes of awe-striking beauty as Ghost of Tsushima is. Around every corner is some gorgeous new sight to behold, while the addictive and engaging content that's crammed into every inch of the map only serves to encourage exploration that much more. Red Dead Redemption 2. Unlike the likes of GTA 5 and Just Cause 3, open-world navigation in Red Dead Redemption 2 is slow, deliberate, and measured, but it's incredible at what it does. The game just wants you to stop and smell the roses, or the cacti as the case may be, every chance you get, and it achieves that through an obsessive level of attention to detail and visual splendor that compels you to completely immerse yourself in its open world. And if a horse ride is taking too long, well, you can always turn on cinematic mode, put the controller down, and just enjoy the invariably breathtaking scenery. Death Stranding. Traversal is the whole point of Death Stranding, so it makes complete sense that it limits fast travel as much as it does. Granted, not everyone jives with the game's core hook, thanks to how blatantly niche it is, but those that do absolutely love it. Even the most fundamental walking mechanics are fun, especially when you're managing weighty cargo, and things are made that much more interesting through environmental challenges in terrain, the weather, and more. Add to that the whole social strand system, which allows you to reshape the world through collective action with other players, and navigation becomes even more compelling. Elden Ring. You'll be hard-pressed to find games that make exploration as rewarding as Elden Ring does, and the fact that it does so consistently across its monstrous runtime makes it an even more impressive accomplishment. Around every corner is a gorgeous new sight to behold, a massive new area of the map to uncover, a secret dungeon to explore, a massive boss, or throngs of enemies to trounce. Even though you only ever use one verb for the vast majority of the game, namely fight, the exploration never loses its luster. Mirror's Edge Catalyst. Coming back to the category of games where traversal is so fun that fast travel feels almost necessary, even though Mirror's Edge Catalyst was not without its issues, which is putting it mildly, its movement mechanics ensured that the simple act of getting around its map, at the very least, never got boring. Combined with gorgeous visuals and a striking art style, the idea of skipping any journey, no matter how small, always feels antithetical to the whole point of the game. Dying Light 2 Stay Human. Dying Light 2 Stay Human is yet another game that ensures that players remain locked into its world, thanks primarily to its movement mechanics. Not having access to fast travel until you're a dozen, if not more hours into the story would be a major issue in the majority of similar open world titles, but that never actually becomes an issue in Dying Light 2, to the extent that you may not even have noticed the lack of a fast travel option until it's finally unlocked later on in the story. Pokemon Legends Arceus. Pokemon Legends Arceus, being the series' first crack at open world design, had no right to be as good as it turned out to be. Each new area in Hisui brings with it a new biome to explore, and more importantly, new Pokemon to seek out and catch. In and of itself, that remains a captivating part of the experience constantly, and on top of that, the game also keeps layering in new traversal mechanics with Pokemon that you can instantaneously swap between on the field. Horizon Forbidden West. Horizon Forbidden West's open world makes several significant leaps forward over its predecessor, with everything from its design to the content it houses, to the majestic and terrifying mechanical monstrosities that roam the land, exhibiting a very clear step up over what was on offer in Zero Dawn. Its gorgeous, varied, vibrant post-apocalyptic open world is one that always remains a joy to explore. Of course, new traversal options like gliding and climbing bring marked improvements in the navigation department as well, while later sections of the game also let you fly around on the back of flying machines. So, what are your thoughts on this? Go ahead and share them in the comments below. And if you like this video, please subscribe to the channel and enable all notifications by clicking the bell icon to get new video updates. We upload every day and would really appreciate your support. Thanks for watching.